What's up, y'all? Certainly is nice out. I'm sitting here at the church and it just started raining. I'm just sitting at a picnic bench. So it's definitely raining out. Yeah, okay. It splashes on my back and stuff. It feels good. You see, my cigarette already has some splashes on it. But it's okay. They still smoke good in the rain. I just can't get it smoking wet. That's the only thing. We're smoking today Montego Bay. Montego 100 Gold menthols in a box. It's nice out. Yeah. Oh no, is my motorcycle okay? I don't know if the Japanese engineered it for that. You know, it just makes me laugh. I should read the owner's manual though. That's a priority. I do want to know everything about it. But thanks for all the work and effort that we got from Japan. It's been good, guys. I had a wonderful ride earlier today. I went about 20 miles in one direction and then another 20 miles back. It could have been a little bit more than that, but the details and the semantics, yeah, I'm concerned about. It was really nice, like wide open highway. It was 60 miles an hour. It was 2-lane. There was no really yeah, there was really no point where it was like a 4-lane highway. It was just a 2-lane stretch for a very long time, and it was nice. My hair would have been blown through my head, but I had a helmet on, so. But every once in a while, hopefully, you get the hair, the wind blowing through your hair. But it was really nice, just kind of cruising along. You get some good vantage points or whatever, but try and keep your eyes on the road. It happens really quick. That's one of my biggest problems with it. Life goes by really fast. I try to enjoy things and not go past the speed limit. Really, I don't like to do it mostly. Every once in a while, exceed it. I guess as an American citizen, it's unwise because you can come across problems. And on a motorcycle, you can hit a bump and not be ready for it, and it's like a problem. So if you are going exceeded speed limits and then you hit like a bump, and they have them on the highway too. That's one of my biggest problems. Is I take issue somewhat with some of the highway system in the United States. Some of the city roads and off roads and other things. I mean, there's some roads around here I wouldn't even go down with a motorcycle, or my motorcycle, anyways. My street bike. There's just really one. It's just where my family and friends used to live out there in I guess it's not Sattler, no. That's, I don't know, some place near Blanco. There's just one road where it's all gravel pit, and I wouldn't want to ride my motorcycle when it's on rocks, I would avoid that. Sure, it could tear it up and it would be crazy, but I wouldn't want to do it, But like I said, you can talk more about that. That is a critical point and factor. You understand? If you're going on the highway and you are run over, like a speed bump or whatever, man, and you're on a motorcycle, you don't have a seatbelt, man. If you're not holding on, you fly off the handlebars. Um, you have to have some suspension building. You got to be ready for it. Basically, your eyes have to be on the road and your body has to be in a certain position. Yeah, on an American style chopper bike, I mean it's basically the same thing, honestly. Like if you went into the pit, like a 3 foot hole or whatever, guys. You know, there are some differences, but like you still got to watch out, is what I'm saying. You can hit a bump on the highway, even an American highway. You think it would be pretty much paved and flat in some of the large metropolitan areas or sub large metropolitan areas, but really not is the case. You actually have to be wary even on 35 and expensive highways like that over here. So that's kind of annoying. I'm sure there's other countries that the highway system is so perfectly flat. There's never any bumps. There's nothing to worry about, and you can just peel down the highway. I'm thinking of like Autobahn in Germany or something right now. Um, I bet you, I don't know what it's like. I mean, it's a really good job overall, but the mixture between city driving and highway driving, I've noticed that even on highways, you got to be so careful, man. I mean, I've been in accidents on highways too before. Um, One time, my ex was riding a four wheeler. um, four, One time, my ex was riding a Jeep. It was like a 1997 Jeep 4x4 Cherokee, and it was white. And a piece of a boat had flipped off of it and was like, I don't know, like 8 inches long, laying on the highway. And she ran over it as she was driving, and we had the dog right next to us. And it jammed up in between the back wheel well and the wheel, and like fried the back tire, and like locked in between in the wheel well. It was like an impossibility. And like we like almost flipped on the highway, and she was like turning the steering wheel like, ah, it was crazy. Um, So I take that into account for a motorcycle. If you go over like a pile of 2x4s, I mean that is super dangerous. Somebody drops a 2x4s on the highway or something, and you're like going on, or even if they're facing even if they're facing in the direction of the highway, like they're not just a perpendicular barrier to you. If they're like facing away from you, they could like slide your tire, and like you can like hit it and like just like slide out. It'd be horrible. So there's all sorts of precautions and scenarios that go along with operating the motor vehicle. Like a motorcycle, 650 class, anywhere between 450 to 1,000, 1,200. I mean, if you have like, if you have a really expensive bike, I would think you would want to have a stomping ground. A place where you kind of always ride. You would know how the road is and all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of what I'm. You remember the divots and the bumps on the highway where they are. Try to remind yourself, and you know what? Honestly, yeah. Sometimes you go back over spots that you previously um, did before. You see the same spots, and then guess what happens? You forget that there's the bump and the divot there, and you're not prepared. Now that's terrible. That's something you don't want to watch out for either. So you have to like cognizate your trips. You have to analyze, think about them, decompress afterwards. Let your brain soak in what it's learned and the environment and the surroundings. Parking lots is another one. Um, Parking lots is a horrible scenario, really, for a motorcycle. You don't want to get in a 10 or a 12-mile-an-hour accident. Crunch your bike or something like that. Also, people can be walking, so you don't ever want to be like in gear. I mean, there's one particular scenario I'll even talk about. It's like the motorcyclist is cycling around a parking lot, and then something spooks them, like anything. Door shuts, starts, lights turn on, somebody walks out in front, something happens, and then instead of reacting properly by putting both feet on the brakes, they like engage the clutch, and it's already in gear, so it's like in first gear, so they like go into first or something, and then they get like freaked out, so they accidentally throttle, and then guess what happens? Then they're charging at something, so then another panic emotion goes through you too. It's like a 3-stage. It's like a demon, dude, I swear. I hate it. Um, I mean, I've seen people do it. It happens really fast too. Those stages that I'm talking about. Something happens, you accidentally find out it's in gear. Next, you're accidentally throttling, and then next, you're accidentally going forward and crashing into something. So you gotta acknowledge that and just that's got to keep you from it. Really, is what I say. Is what I say. And that's like a horrible attack. A lot of guys know better, and it doesn't come from age, wisdom, experience. I mean, it can really happen to anybody. It can happen at certain times. It happens at certain reasons. So you just always got to be. You kind of have to be mindful of that specific scenario. I'm being real with you. There's something like specific stuff, man. Um, but it's very true. It's like a beginner's mistake, but like I said, I would say that the advance of the modern people, that's kind of actually what you want to watch out for, buddy. You don't want to crash into a car in a parking lot. Um, you don't want something to happen. So you gotta have a good clutch hand. You gotta be firm down on the clutch. If you're in gear, you gotta be mindful of the fact that you can engage and increase your torque. So, um, there's a balancing process. Where's your hours and mindset? Always be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself or other people. It's normally a confluence of factors that leads up to a motorcycle accident, right? So, that scenario I just described is indeed a confluence of factors. It's very specific, though, all three of them, though. Oh, something happened, it spooked me. Oh, I looked down and now I dropped it into gear. That freaked me out. So now I'm accelerating. I don't know how to stop. My wrist is twisting the opposite direction I wanted to. So the answer to that, really, I would say, is just get familiar with clamping down on both brakes at the same time. That's one action you have to be able to do with your body. Just bam, no, right arm forward and then foot down. And so don't ever forget that. That's your, you know, I don't know how else to say it. And then also, of course, be mindful of the rain during things like that because that's your answer to that scenario too. Whatever. Low speeds, high speeds. It's the same reaction. Is both brakes. Yeah, you don't know. You don't ever brake just one brake. Front brake or the e-brake on the right side. The Kawasaki Ninja. You just do both brakes. Every time. So even if you're light braking or hard braking, there's always a combination of the two. So there's some advice for you guys. This is what I've learned motorcycling for 28 years or however long, counting. Riding dirt bikes and stuff, at least. Riding bikes, how's that, guys? Yeah, gravel and mud too. Yeah, we'll bring it up more at a later time as I learn more. But yeah, street bikes and stuff like that. No gravel, man. Don't brake in gravel. Don't ever run over gravel on a bike and then just start braking like I talked about. Like your answer to a emergency scenario. Trigger a hard brake on a gravel top and it's just going over me. Same thing as stay on the road. You can't go off the road. Like you can't go into grass really that well, but you can't go into mud and like break in mud. I don't know. Are you guys smarter than I am or something? But yeah, this is what we found out and tested to be true. All right, guys, we love you.